And a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV's news cycle, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed the reactivation of the presidential delivery tracker to enable Nigerians to track the implementation of projects across the country in real time. Speaking at the closing section of the three-day cabinet retreat in Abuja yesterday, the president said his determination is to ensure the active and direct participation of citizens in governance was unwavering, noting that all Nigerians must be given the opportunity to track and report on the implementation of projects across the country. Tinubu said he had asked a special advisor on policy and coordination, Hadiza Bala Usman, to immediately reactivate the tracking system in a way that Mali leverages on cutting-edge digital innovation to provide real-time oversight capability for the benefit of all Nigerians. The president further implored all members of his cabinet to work very hard to meet the expectation of Nigerians. The federal government has commenced investigation into the private jet accidents that occurred at Ibadan Airport on Friday night. Officials of the Nigeria Safety Investigation Bureau confirmed on Saturday morning that the aircraft crash-landed at the airport the previous night. It stressed that there was no casualty. They stated that investigators from the Bureau had been sent to the scene of the accident and promised to provide further details as they unfold. It was gathered that the aircraft was operated by Flint Aero as it departed Abuja to Ibadan and crashed short of the runway in Ibadan. The HS-2B-5B aircraft with call sign 5NAMM reportedly had been 10 passengers and 3 crew on board and was onboard Abuja at 6:41 hours, but crashed into the bush short of the runway at about 7:21 hours. Although there was no fatality, sources said the aircraft sustained substantial damage as all passengers and crew were safely evacuated. As the President Bola Tinubu administration introduces policies to drive the country's economy, the agriculture sector has been projected to contribute significantly to Nigeria's gross domestic product. This special report by Chidima Jawson highlights issues associated with the poultry subsector.
With an ever-growing urban and rural economy, there had been great clamor for diversification of Nigeria's economy and a deliberate national drive to promote agriculture as a business, which makes agriculture account for about 23% of the country's GDP. Incidentally, the poultry subsector contributes over 20% of the total livestock and fisheries shares of agriculture's GDP, which makes agriculture a huge contributor to the nation's gross domestic earnings. However, the poultry subsector is still subjected to a lot of challenges. This special report focuses on the intricacies of poultry farming in Nigeria, how agricultural policies affect the business of poultry farming, and the impact the ban, which was recently lifted, will have on the poultry farming business in Nigeria. Even with the increased focus on poultry farming, the poultry subsector has experienced a lot of challenges over the years, which has impacted the business.
I think when we're talking about the challenges of poultry in Nigeria, the challenges are so enormous, but to highlight few of it, like in recent time, we had a COVID-19 pandemic, which really hit the industry so greatly that some of the farms were closed. We also have this cash crunch of cashless policy of CBN, which also posed a lot of threats to the industry, that many farms were closed down, especially in FCT here.
Even more so, with the recent lifting of ban on poultry items, what sort of impact would this have on the industry, positive or negative?
The idea of lifting the ban on this poultry product I wouldn't say it's a bad one, but it has its attending negative impact on the production in the country. If the ban is being lifted, it will affect the local production actually. Most of those imported products, we can't ascertain the level of, health safety. Okay. Yes, in it, because most of them, you don't know how they have been preserved over time before they have been imported into the country. The state of emergency declared on food security is a very laudable program of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
As a fast-developing subsector that contributes over 20% of agricultural GDP, what developmental policies and action plan are being put in place to build the poultry industry?
There are a lot of policies and programs, but as we always experience, the implementation is always the problem. Because even in FCT here, I have worked directly with the Animal Husbandry Development. We came up with a good policy.
And what are the key issues that needs to be addressed to secure continued growth for Nigeria's poultry industry?
The key things that need to be, put in place. First of all, most of these farmers need funds for those in the sector, because most times we also want to access credit facility. The term and the condition are not too favorable. The road to most of these farms are very bad, that hamper the success that ordinarily the farmers would have achieved.
In a recent interview, the Minister of Agriculture, Senator Abubakar Kyari, expressed readiness by the ministry to tackle challenges faced by poultry farmers as well as challenges of food security, in corroboration with the President's declaration of a state of emergency on food security.
In mere mentioning in his renewed agenda, renewed hope agenda, that I also see that hope, that commitment in him when he declared the food emergency in the country on the first day.
However, in what practical ways will these drastic measures effectively revive the nation's food and agricultural sector? Well, that remains to be seen by Nigerians. Chidima Jawasin, Global TV News.
The Zungeru hydropower project is estimated to generate 2.64 billion kilowatts of electricity annually. In a document from the Chinese embassy in Abuja on Saturday, the project amounted to $1.3 billion and it is to generate 2,630 gigawatt energy with a total installed capacity of 700 megawatts. The document read the project, which cost about 1.3 billion naira, is the biggest power project completed in Nigeria in the past 10 years and one of the biggest power projects in Africa to avail preferential loan facility from the Export-Import Bank of China. The construction works on the power plant started in May 2013. On August 15, 2023, the project was successfully handed over to the Nigeria government. The Zungeru hydropower project is a testament to the China-Nigeria partnership at its best, and it's set to make a significant contribution to Nigeria's power generation capacity. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has fixed Monday for hearing of the appeal filed by Governor Abba Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party challenging the nullification of its election by the Kano State Election Petition Tribunal. The tribunal nullified Yusuf's election by declaring 165,663 of his votes invalid, saying they were not signed or stamped by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. INEC had declared him the winner of the March 18th election after he secured 101,962 votes against its opponent Nasiru Gawuna of the All Progressive Congress APC, who secured 890,705 votes. However, after the tribunal deducted the 165,663 votes from his tally, his votes were reduced to 853,936, over 30,000 votes less than Gawuna's figure. The court declared the APC candidate the winner of the governorship election and ordered the INEC to withdraw Yusuf's certificate of return and give Gawuna a new one. Yusuf and the NNPP have since appealed the tribunal's judgment, asking that it be overturned in their favor. Azwade Apical sitting in Lagos has affirmed Jarigbe of the People's Democratic Party as the winner of the Cross River North Senatorial District election. The court on Saturday dismissed the petition by former governor of Cross River State, Ben Ayade, of the All Progressive Congress on the election. The court also awarded 500,000 naira against the former governor in favor of the incumbent senator. The former governor, who was in the Senate between 2011 and 2015, lost the National Assembly election conducted on Saturday with 56,595 votes against Jarigbe of the People's Democratic Party, who scored 76,145 votes. Earlier in September, the Cross River State National Assembly election petition sitting in Calabar had declared Jarigbe as the winner of the February 25th senatorial district elections and dismissed Ayede's petition for lack of merit. In the 5-hour judgment, the chairman of the tribunal, Justice M.A. Sambo, said the petitioners, Ayede and APC, failed to prove their case substantially their petition, saying there were no credible evidences tendered before the court to prove that the elections were fraught with malpractices. The organized labor on Friday declared Wednesday, 8th November 2023, a nationwide strike following the Monday's manhandling of the national president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Joe Ajero, in Imo State. Deputy President of NLC, Adewale Adeyanju, and the Deputy President of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, in a joint briefing with journalists in Abuja, gave implementation of 6-point demands to the federal government to avert the strike. Among the demands are the immediate removal of the Imo State Commissioner of Police, area commander, and other state government officials fingered in the alleged brutalization of Joe Ajero in the assault. You're watching Global TV's news cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. On Star Times Channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using a Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. We'll be back with more stories for you after the short break. Please don't go away. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, it's still Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the news cycle from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Let's take a look at some foreign news where Guinea's former military ruler, Dadis Camara, has been sprung from prison by armed men. The country's justice minister says the group stormed a jail in the capital, Conakry, early on Saturday morning, freeing Captain Camara and 3 others. One has since been found. The fugitives are currently on trial for their alleged roles in that of more than 150 people in 2009 protests. A country's borders have been closed as the authorities hunt for them. Guinea's Justice Minister Charles Afonso announced the escape on Saturday. Gunshots were heard in Conakry, starting before dawn. The city center was cordoned off and military vehicles were also seen on the street. Among the other reported to have escaped were Claude Piver, a former government minister who is accused of also being involved in the murder of people at Conakry Stadium on 28 September 2009. At least 157 people died when troops attacked people protesting against military rule. Scores of women were raped. The health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza said at least 15 people were killed Saturday when a UN school sheltering the massacre at the El Fakura school committed by the occupation Israel this morning left 15 martyrs and 70 wounded. Minister spokesman Ashraf Al-Qudra told a press conference the displaced families. There was no immediate comment from the Israel military about hitting the school in Jabalia refugee camp. An estimated 1.4 million people have been displaced in 4 weeks of war out of the territory's 2.4 million residents, with many crammed into schools or hospitals. The health minister said Saturday at least 9,488 people have been killed across Gaza. The majority civilians since Israel started pounding news where the naira is supposed to strengthen to below 1,000 naira per dollar on the parallel markets next week, following positive sentiment around the federal government's plan to shore up dollar liquidity in the foreign exchange market. There are enough dollars in the market now. What we're seeing is that people are no longer hodling, and that has increased liquidity in the market. Abubakar Ibrahim, and forex trader, said on Friday against the dollar, gaining 0.13% as the dollar fell to 1,020 naira on Friday from a peak of 1,310 naira on Thursday last week on the black market. Street traders were already buying dollars at the rate of 980 naira on Friday as against 1,130 on Thursday. As well, the verification exercise of Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, that led to the removal of over 50,000 ghost pensioners from payroll and the adjustment of inflated pension benefits by corrupt persons within pension offices of some government agencies in the past are also brewing trouble with the directorate. Executive Secretary PTAD Chioma Ejikeme said she started that corruption that has been forced to a standstill under the old pension scheme, the defined benefit scheme, DBS, is fighting back, especially because of reappointment. She said genuine pensioners are happy with the work of the directorate, as many who were removed from payroll and replaced with ghost pensioners by the unscrupulous people have been brought back on payroll, while others short paid are paid appropriately. However, the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, NUP, has commended President Bola Tinubu for appointing Chioma Ejikeme as the Executive Secretary of PTAD. Still on business news, the Nigerians numbering over 26.5 million, including internally displaced person (IDPs), may be plunged into acute food insecurity between June and August 2024. The Kader Harmonized CH report has shown by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in Abuja on Friday, showed that the post-effect of petrol subsidy removal had toll on food prices, which impacted households' capacity to sustain acceptable food consumption patterns. The report, which covered 26 states and the Federal Capital Territory, also showed a reduced harvest and household stock resulting from flash floods that led to displacement and loss of cultivated crops, field and ready to reverse crops. Going into the laying season, June to August 2024, households may experience slight to moderate deterioration in food consumption, which may plunge several states into the crisis phase. And lastly, Yaya Toure has joined Saudi Arabia as an assistant coach, linking up with his former Man City boss Roberto Mancini, thus increasing the numbers of top stars now playing on and off the pitch roles Saudi. Toure, who retired from playing in 2019, has left the equivalent role with Belgian side Standard Liège despite only joining in June of this year. Mancini spent 4 years as City manager from 2009 to 2013, helping the club to win their first Premier League title in 2011 to 2012. He signed Toure from Barcelona in 2010, and the former Ivory Coast star went into become a legend with the club as he won 3 Premier League titles and 4 other trophies during 8 seasons at the Etihad. The midfielder later spent time playing for Olympiacos and Chinese side Hongjia before retiring. Along his spell at Standard Liège, has also coached at Ukrainian side Olympique Donetsk, Russian outfit Akhmat Grozny, and in Tottenham's academy. And that's it on Global TV News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using a Global TV NG and other handles.